Hey, Jacob. Obviously, incredible performance from you tonight. But I think we all know that this day has, even a bigger significance than basketball, and it's a spot you've been in before. Of course, you and Nick took the podium back in January after the Dayton game, following racial slurs being written on student dorms here on campus. We all know what happened in the Capitol today. Were there any talks with you and the team before the game, whether it was not playing or just discussing what's going on today and just how that kind of carried itself in the locker room and with the team today?
So I had just deleted my Twitter. Most of my social medias haven't been on them recently, so I didn't really see what had been going on. And my sister called me to check on me and make sure everything was okay. But no, I didn't really talk about it with any of the guys. Following a loss, I think we were kind of just focused on this game and making sure we get the win. I'm sure when I go back in the locker room, we'll be talking about it and everything going on. But no, we didn't really talk about it or discuss it, anything like that before the game.
Jake, diving into the game, sorry, Lane. Diving into the game here, though, of course, this is a URI team that, let up 70-plus points to St. Joe's in an overtime game and then held St. Bonaventure to 57. It's a team with a ton of turnover from last season. What was it like trying to approach and prepare for a team that just had so much movement and fluidity?
They're different, Usually when we come into games, we've seen a lot of the guys before. They're a whole new team this year. They're really good. But we kind of knew it was going to be pretty much based around Fat, so we just tried to contain them as much as we could, make everything tough on them. But at the end of the day, it comes down to getting stops. We were a really good defensive team towards the end of last year, and we just need to get back to that.
Jake, is this as close to a complete game as you guys might have played this year, or at least in the last 2 or 3 weeks?
I'm probably biased because I shot well, so I'm gonna say yeah. But I don't know. When I look back at the film, I'll watch it. But there was a lot of good stretches we had, offensively and defensively. I think we really made it tough on Fats all game. But I think we definitely could have been better. But as far as probably a full 40, we played pretty well.
Hey, Jacob, off the heels of last Saturday's contest where you guys, was making baskets late but couldn't get the stop, how rewarding was it tonight to make those stops against Rhode Island when they were trying to make a run late?
It was huge for us. Obviously, that's kind of what I was just talking about as far as our defense goes. That's what it comes down to. To come down in the stretch in the last 4 minutes is what we kind of pride ourselves on, just trying to get stops down that stretch. We were able to, for sure.
Was it even more sweeter to do it at home? You guys have struggled a little bit at home to this point.
Yeah, we have struggled a little bit at home. I think we had a lot of energy on our bench. It was huge for us. Kind of felt like we had a pretty good atmosphere out there, which really helped us. But it was definitely sweet to get the home court feeling back.
Hey, Mr. Gilliard, you were hitting 27.1% from three-point range going into the night. Obviously, not an issue. What changed, if anything?
I've talked about it before. Some days you make shots, some days you don't. I had been in a little slump. Got to remind myself it's just basketball, I think I've been putting a lot of pressure on myself overall. Today I was just kind of out there playing, having fun. So it was really good for us.
Hey, congratulations, Coach Mooney.
Thank you, John. I appreciate it.
I wonder if you could sort of classify win number 300 in your career. How will you recall those 40 minutes?
I think the main thing is that usually I make a statement, and this time you asked the question before I made a statement, so I appreciate that. I think maybe we could start a new tradition that way. I think we could start.
I
I'm kidding. I don't know, John. I don't really think too much about it. I don't even know if my wife knew about it. Maybe so. But I'll say this. So I had I was on a podcast a couple of weeks ago, and a couple of people had texted me or written me letters about a quote I said, and I think it's pretty important. Maybe you could have it written down, John, in the paper. But just that, I think it's important. I really don't pay very much attention to doubters or haters, and I'm really motivated by the believers and the investors, and that's our guys, our players, our managers, our staff, our administration. There's a lot that goes into this, especially this year. We're testing what feels like all the time. There are people, making sacrifices and doing everything we can to have a season and have a successful season. The parents of our players who have been, great to me and our staff over the years, are invested. The players are invested, and the coaches, they not this year, but generally they fly back and from a recruiting trip and get in at 2 a.m. and they're at a 7 o'clock workout with great energy, helping our guys. Like there's a lot of effort and belief and things that go into this level of a college basketball program. And that's very motivating. I don't think anybody should need to look any further. I know there's the cliche, when the Yankees clinch a wild card, they say, nobody believed in us or nobody thought we would do this. It's like, everybody figured you'd be in the playoffs. I know there's that cliche, but I think it's really important to be motivated by those people who are working really hard every day to make this really challenging season and what is this level of college basketball tough. And those people are the ones who have been with us and have motivated me. And I'm proud that we have 300 wins.
How about tonight? What got you rolling tonight? Pulled away late. Obviously, Gilliard, big three among several threes, but defense good as well.
Yeah, I've told our guys again and again that we need to improve defensively. Now, part of it is we've played a very, very good schedule. There have been no really easy outs. And so teams can keep coming and have great players and have good game plans. But we need to be better defensively. Last year, I thought, we're going to play Mason now, but it was the 5th league game. It was a really high scoring game, 97-87, I believe. We were not very good defensively. And I think from that point on, we really improved dramatically. And we need to keep, and we didn't improve dramatically because we switched anything up or added a player or anything like that. We did because we kept doing these small things. And we did some of those tonight, and we've been really good on defense in stretches. First half of Loyola, the Kentucky game for the most part. But we need to, the last 5 minutes of Davidson, we need to really string that together and get to be as good as we can. But we had some good things. We forced a lot of turnovers, and we didn't commit many turnovers. That's usually a pretty good formula.
Coach, it seemed like there was a different energy right from the opening tip. Is there anything you can specifically to which you can contribute that?
I think mainly Jacob was very aggressive. He was very aggressive from the beginning of the game. He had, he played a great game, but he was very, very aggressive in transition, in the half court, on defense, very aggressive. And I think we really fed off of that right from the beginning. I think sometimes as a guy who's been involved in so many games, he kind of, directs the game early and where do we want to be and who's needs to do what. I thought today he really attacked the game, and I thought that was the main reason that energy was so high in the beginning.
Hey, Chris, you go up to Mason on Saturday. Will you say anything to Blake Francis prior to that? Obviously, he missed that game last year because he was hurt. So, it's one of those homecoming affairs like Shepard had today for Rhode Island. Will you advise him to, deep breath it or anything like that before the game?
Well, I think it's just a little bit different without the fans, John. I may mention it, and you're right. I had forgotten about him not having been there last year. It's so different without the fans. I don't think that every game feels fine, but they all feel very much the same. And so I may mention something to him, but I don't think so just because with the lack of fans, I think all of that tension or excitement or whatever is a little bit muted.
Thank you.
Hey, Chris, we got to see Isaiah Wilson tonight, especially in the late going crunch time of a conference game. How important do you think that is for him going forward in his freshman year?
It's great. If he was in a different situation, he would be playing a lot for us, and I think when he visited us, he knew we had Jacob and Blake, and he knew that minutes would be hard to come by early in his freshman year, but he's good enough to be playing a lot for us or for a team at this level. And, so I do think it's good for him. I think just to have his name called and be out there, he's really a good defender. He really gives great effort. It's on, of course the ball found him on the out of, or not on the out of bounds play. Nate threw it out to him. And then a couple minutes later, he's coming out of the game, and I shook his hand, and his hand was ice cold. That's a tough way to shoot a three. It might be his first college three, Jason. That's a tough way to shoot your first college three from the dead corner, ice cold hand. 3 minutes left in the game. So, but he's going to be terrific. He works really hard. As I said, he's talented enough to be playing a lot. He just happens to be behind two very good players.